Okay, all done with that. Now we're going to start row 19th, and hi, welcome to part 2. So here we go. We're going to join with the color we started with, what they're calling our dark color, and the black is what they're calling our darker color. So I'm going to rejoin with mulberry. Nice long tail. There we go. Join with a chain 1. Okay, so we are going to, let me put a little more light on here for you. There we go. So you can see a little easier. So we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch over. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches and into the next stitch. So we're going to skip, skip, and in the next stitch over, work a shell of 5 double crochet. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we're going to switch to our darkest color again, but for the sake of the video, I will do the first row in the black, and then the next row we have a little bit of different work to do. It is going to be a single crochet row, but we have to, it says we're going to divide for front, sleeves, and back. So I will do that part in the cream so you can see it very clearly. But for now, this next row of black single crochet is going to be done just like we've been doing, where the first stitch, or the last stitch and the first stitch of the fans are going to be joined together with a 1 single crochet together. So I'll go ahead and join my black real quick. I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to join, chain 1, and turn. So for the first 14 single crochet, we will work 1 single crochet, so I'm just going to work the first 14 real quick, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I have my first 14 single crochet worked in. Now, just as we've done before, the last single crochet of this shell, sorry, I know I called it a fan before, but the shell, pull through a loop and stop, and then the first single crochet of the next shell over, pull up a loop and stop, and then pull through all 3, and then just continue to work 14 single crochet in a row again. So at the end of this row, don't change colors on your end. I will change it on my end just for the sake of you being able to see what we're going to do. And I really don't know what we're going to do yet. I haven't read that far. I only read the title here. So I will be right back. Okay, so our first shell, we work 14 stitches over, and then we work our join stitch. The remaining shells is 13 stitches over, so here I have 13 stitches worked. Then I just work my single crochet together stitch, and then work 13 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Then we work our 2 single crochet together again. The first shell and the last shell are going to be 14 across because we're only eliminating 1 stitch from that. We have a total of 15 stitches, but on the first shell, we're only eliminating 1 stitch, and the same goes for the last shell. We're eliminating this stitch and then working 14 across because we're not eliminating this one down here. Okay, so finish working that across, and I will be right back for our next row of single crochet that will be a little different. I'll be right back. Okay, so I added the cream, but I don't think I'm actually going to need to use it because the only thing that we're really doing here is skipping stitches mostly. It's not that we're going to be doing any kind of fancy extra stitching or any kind of like, I don't know what I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but what I will recommend that you do So we are working again, size 12 to 14. So for size 12 to 14, here is how this row, of course, it's going to be all worked in back loop only. So here's how this row is going to work out. We're going to be dividing the row for fronts, sleeves, and back. So I would recommend that you get some stitch markers and pre-mark all of your stitches. So here we go. Starting off, you're going to work back loop only, 1 single crochet into each of the next 49 stitches. One more time, that's for size 12 to 14. So mark your 49th stitch. Then you're going to skip the next 56 stitches. So here is where the 56 stitch mark is. You're going to skip all of that. So mark that. That is 56 stitches skipped. Okay, then you're going to work 1 back loop only single crochet into the next 84 stitches. So 84 stitches, and then mark your 84th stitch. So that is 84 stitches. You will work back loop only single crochet. Then you will skip once more the next 56 stitches. So mark your 56th stitch away, and you're going to skip all of these. These won't be worked in. And then you're going to work your last 50 stitches. We started off with 49, but we are going to end with 50 stitches worked all back loop only, and then we will change color again. So you will want to cut the black or whichever you're using for your darkest, and you're going to join with color 2 medium. For me, that's going to be the brown or cafe latte, this one here. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to detach the cream because it turns out I really don't need it. I thought it was going to be some stitch working happening, but no, it's still just back loop only single crochet. The only major difference being we are simply skipping stitches. We're going to skip, in fact, we're going to skip 56 stitches at a time, twice. So let's start off by working the first 49 back loop only. Oh, I go through both stitches. There we go. There's 1, 2, and 3. I will be back whenever we are ready to skip. Okay? Okay, I'm at my 49th stitch now. I just worked it. So now we're going to skip 56 stitches. Let me just look to confirm. Yes, we are now going to skip 56 stitches and working back loop only. I kind of want to join through both loops, but I will stick to the pattern. All right, working back loop only, we join with a single crochet, and now we will work, this being 1 where we joined, this being number 2, 84 stitches. 84 stitches across, but I already have that marked out. So I will be back whenever we are ready to work our next join after skipping another 56 stitches. But for now, we're going to work 84 back loop only double crochet. I'll be right back. I am going to join through both loops. It's just stretching. It's just stretching. So I would recommend maybe join. I just jumped back on. I didn't make it over to the other side yet. I undid that little bit of work and decided to join into both loops. And now I will work back loop only the remaining stitches for my 84 stitches. Yeah, it was just the more I was working, it was stretching more and more. Now it looks better. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I worked my last stitch, my 84th stitch, through both loops just for better security. And now we're going to skip 56 stitches again. So let's bring that together. Pre-counting your stitches is really going to save you a lot of headache. I'm going to go through both loops, work a single crochet. Now I'm going to work back loop only the remaining 50 stitches. 2, 3. Okay, so I only have 50 stitches left to work all the way down here. Then I will change color into the Cafe Latte. So these are the armholes that your arm is going to go through. I can't wait for this to be done, you guys. And for the first time, I'm not having a bad time making a cardigan, a jacket.Maybe it's just whenever I make my own designs, I don't like it. I don't think it's because my designs are complicated. I think it's because I struggle with the math. I struggle to make sure that it's good, that it's correct, that it can suit all different sizes comfortably. So yeah, I think it's just, maybe I just don't like making my own cardigans and jackets and sweaters, because I am actually thoroughly enjoying this one. I really am. Okay, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so this next row, row 22, is going to be, there's a lot. This is all of row 22. So my guess is it's a lot because now we're working sleeves. So you want the right side of the work facing you. So the front loops that you did not work on the last row need to be facing you to rejoin with your medium color. There we go. And it wants us to start with basically a half shell. So you can start with a chain 3. I will be working a stacked single. There we go. And then 2 more double crochet into that same stitch. So things are going to be worked just a little different now. Okay, so it says to skip 2 stitches and work a single crochet into, a slip stitch into the next. Then we're going to chain 2, skip 1 more single crochet, and in the next stitch, we're going to work another slip stitch. So that was skip 2, work a slip stitch, chain 2, skip 1, and work a slip stitch in the next stitch over. Turn, skip the slip stitches and the chain 2, and work 2 double crochet in each of the next 3 double crochet. Doubles? Yes. Okay. So 1, my guess is they want this to look like a double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then into our starting stitch, we're going to work 2 in there as well for a total of 6 double crochet in a row. Okay, then we turn and we're going to work 1 single crochet into each of the next 6 double crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, I think that's what their goal was to get this to look like a double crochet. All right, now we're going to work 6 slip stitches over the next 6 stitches. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip 2 stitches and we're going to work 5 double crochet shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and work a slip stitch. And we're going to chain 2 like we did before, skip just 1 stitch, work a slip stitch in the next stitch over. Okay, now we're going to turn and work 2 double crochet into each of these 5 double crochet, making 10 double crochet in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're going to skip the first slip stitch. Sorry, right here, we're going to skip the first slip stitch, and into the next 2, we will slip stitch into each of the next 2. 1. It's a struggle to get into the second one. There we go. And 2. Turn. And just like we did down here, we're going to work 1 single crochet to make sure. Let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're going to start with 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then work an increase into the next. And that's the repeat across the shell. 1 single crochet into the next, an increase into the next. Just like we did before. 1, next stitch, 1 and 2. Next stitch, 1, next stitch, 1 and 2. Next is 1, and then your last stitch should have the increase. 1 and 2. There we go. Curious what we're going to do over here. Okay, now we're just going to repeat everything we did over here. So one more time, that's going to be 1 slip stitch into each of the next 6 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Skip 2 stitches, work your 5 double crochet shell. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we skip 2 stitches, work a slip stitch into the 3rd stitch over, chain 2, skip 1, and work another slip stitch into the one after that. Turn, work your 2 double crochet into all 5 stitches, making 10 double crochet in a row. Then we skip the first slip stitch and we slip stitch into each of the next 2. I wonder what happens if I just go through here. Oh. Okay. Slip into that one. There we go. Slip stitch into the next. Turn. And start working right here. 1, next stitch over, increase. We're looking for 15 single crochet in a row. Next stitch gets 1, next stitch gets the increase, next stitch gets 1, increase in next, 1, 1, 2, 1, ending always with an increase, 1, 2, and then we just do this all over again. We work 6 slip stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Skip 2 stitches and start working your 5 double crochet shell again. So I will be right back. It says that at the end of this row, there will be 10 complete shells and 2 half shells, because we're going to end this the same way we started, with a half shell. So I'll come back and end this with you, okay? Okay, so I may have told you that we were looking for 10 full shells and then 2 halves. I was reading the wrong size. That was for the 8-10, the size 8-10. For the size 12-14, we're looking for 12 full-size shells and 2 half shells. I'm really sorry about that. So yes, 12 full-size shells for the size 12 to 14. All right, let's finish row 22 together. So I worked my last large shell, slip stitched 6. Now I'm going to skip 2 stitches and into my last stitch, work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, turn, and work 2 double crochet. So I guess I will need to actually, I'm going to need to work a stacked single here. There we go. And then 1 more, and then 1 or 2 into each of the remaining stitches for 6 double crochet in a row. 1 and 2. Okay, just like we did before, we're going to skip the first stitch and slip stitch into each of the next 2. There we go. There's 1 and 2. Turn and work 1 double crochet into the first stitch, 2 into the next, 1 into the next, 2, next stitch over, 1, and then we finish with 2 into the last stitch. And I need to change colors here. I believe we're changing into black again. Let me see. Yes. Okay, so join the black. All right, so they want us to work this row just a little bit different, but it is going to be single crochet. Now let's work 1 single crochet. Well, I suppose I need to get myself situated, huh? All right, 1 single crochet into each of the first 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to drop my tails here because we are going to skip, and I don't want to leave a weird gap with tails crawling through the gap. So I'm just going to weave my work back this way. But in the meantime, here, I'll go ahead and cut. All right. Now we have 3 slip stitches here, right? So we're going to skip the first slip stitch, work 1 single crochet into the next slip stitch, and then skip the 3rd slip stitch. So we're skipping the first and the last slip stitch, and then just start working your single crochets into the next 15 stitches through both loops. (13), 14, and 15. And then one more time, we're going to skip the first slip stitch and the last, and we're only working a single crochet into that middle slip stitch there, just like that. And then you just jump over and start working your 15 single crochet across. So this is how you're going to work this entire row. I will be right back for the second single crochet row, and I'm going to weave in my tails. I'll be right back. All right, let's get started on our second row of single crochet in the black. Chain 1 and turn. That's something I'm going to have to contend with, is all of Merlin's hair on this dark colors. Okay, as usual, we are going to be working in back loops, but of course, as usual, I like to work through both loops on the first and last stitch. Now that is 1. We're going to work over the first 5 single crochet. That counts as 1, so back loop only. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So before we were working 2 single crochet together, but now we're going to work 3 single crochet together. So picking up the back loops of each of the next 3 stitches, we will gather 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, and pull through all 4. We already have 1 on our hook. So here we go, back loop. I'll get real close because I know that this is black yarn. Let me make it a little brighter for you. Okay. 1, next stitch over, 2, and then the next stitch over, 3. Now we have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 4, and that's it. Now we're going to work over the next 13 single crochet, back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now we're going to pick up the next 3 stitches, back loop only, 1 next stitch over, 2 next stitch over, back loop, 3, 4 on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 4. So repeat this all the way to the end, and as we have been doing, once you get to the other end, cut your yarn, weave in your ends, and then come on back. I think we're going to join the cream. Let me see. Yes, we are joining with the lightest color. So I will be right back whenever I am already back at this point here and I have my cream color joined. Okay, let's work our next shell row. So with your lightest color, join with a chain 1 and work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. So you join into your first single crochet with a chain 1 and then don't do anything else with it. And then work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 stitches. So that's a total of 3 stitches done. Now you will skip 2 and work your 5 double crochet shell, essentially right into your 3 single crochet together. Sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I got one in. All right, there we go. 5. Then you will skip the next 2 stitches and into the next 2 after that, work your slip stitches, turn, work 2 double crochet into each of the next 2 double crochet. I will be right back. We're looking for a total of 10 double crochet in a row. Okay, let's move on to our next shell row. So with your lightest color, join into the top of your very first single crochet and then slip stitch into each of the next 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. Skip 2 stitches and into the 3rd stitch over, work your 5 double crochet shell, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just like we did before, we're going to skip 2 stitches, slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 2, skip 1 stitch, and slip stitch into the next one after that. Now let's turn and work 10 double crochet into each of the next 5 double crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we're going to skip the first slip stitch and we're going to work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2. 1 and basically into our first starting single crochet, 2. And just like we did before, we're going to start with 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 2 into the next. We're looking for a total of 15 single crochet in a row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, next stitch over, 5, 6, next stitch, 7, next, 8, 9, next, 10, next, 11, 12, next one, 13, and then the last one, we always end on an increase, so 14 and 15. And then just like we did before, starting into the very next single crochet over, we work 6 slip stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and into the next stitch over, we start all over again. So this is the repeat, just like we did on this row. So I will be back when we get back to the end, or over to the other end. And you should end, we've ended this row like this before. You're going to end with basically a slip stitch into your last stitch on the other end. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, let's finish off row 25 together, and then I'm going to give you some homework. So I've just worked my last 5 double crochet shell. I'm going to skip 1, skip 2, work a a slip stitch, chain 2, skip 1, and work a slip stitch into the last stitch of the row. Turn, work my shell. So I'm going to go ahead and work my whole shell real quick off camera. I'll be right back. Okay, just finished working my 15 single crochet in a row. Now I'm going to slip stitch into my last stitch. Oh, I got to finish this slip stitch with the black actually. So for this first row of single crochet, you're going to work over all 15 stitches, and then you're going to skip your first and last slip stitch and work a single crochet right into the middle, just like we did down here. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn, and your second row of black is going to be just like this one, where in the middle portion here, you're going to work 3 single crochet together. Okay, so just work that, and then come on back whenever you're ready to start the next shell round. And I believe we are joining back with the darker color. That is going to be, yes. So when we come back, I will have mulberry joined. So go ahead and work your 2 rows of single crochet. Remember, we're just working the single crochet into the middle slip stitch here. Then the next row up, everything as usual, back loop only, except for you're going to work 3 single crochet together down here. No different than what we did here. Okay, guys, I will see you then. Okay, let's move on. Now we should join our dark color. For me, that's the mulberry, and we're going to start off with a half shell as we've done before. So 3 double crochet into your first stitch. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we are going to skip 2 stitches and work a single crochet into the 3rd stitch over, chain 2, skip 1 stitch, and work another single crochet into the next stitch over. All right, let's turn, and we're going to work 2 double crochet into every stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then into our starting stitch, 5, and 6. Now it says to chain 3 for a double crochet, but I'm going to work a stacked single. So we will work 1 double crochet or chain 3, stacked single, whichever you want to do, into our first double crochet here. Now work 2 double crochet into the next stitch over, 1 double crochet into the next, 2 into the next, 1 into the next, and finally 2 into the last. Okay, now we're going to skip the first stitch and work 5 slip stitches in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2 single crochet and end the 3rd single crochet over. Work a 6 double crochet shell. So these are going to be, I believe, our largest shells. I don't know if we go higher than 6. We may have it 7, I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. There we go. This is how everything should be looking so far. All right, now we are going to skip 2 stitches. So skip, skip, work 1 slip stitch, chain 2, skip the next stitch and work another slip stitch in the next stitch over and turn. Okay, now we're going to work 2 double crochet into each stitch across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we're going to do on this side now what we have been doing down here on this side. So we're going to skip the first slip stitch here, work a slip stitch into the next, chain 2, skip the next slip stitch and into the next, we're going to skip the next and into the next one over, work another slip stitch. There we go. Turn. Now we're going to work 18 double crochet in a row, and we're going to do that by working one double crochet into one stitch and then an increase in the next. So this time it wants us to start off with the increase, so we're going to work 2 double crochet into the first stitch, 1 into the next, 2 into the next, and then 1 into the next, all the way to the end. You should end with with 1 double crochet on the end, and a total of 18 double crochet in a row. So I will be right back. And then of course we're going to end by skipping our first stitch and slip stitching into the next 5, where you will then follow that by skipping 2 stitches and working your 6 double crochet shells. So this is the repeat all the way to the end. And remember, if you need to look back, we are doing the same thing we do down here on this side over here, where we skip the first slip stitch in the next, chain 2, skip 1, slip stitch in the next, and then we turn and we work our 18 double crochet back this way. So rewind this as many times as you need to get this locked into memory. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Then we will skip 2 and make our 6 double crochet shell. So I will be right back. I'm going to work my way all the way to the end. You will work a color change when we get to the end, and you're going to end it the exact same way we started it. It's no different than how we've done it here. It's just we have double crochets and we are working every other stitch is an increase. That's really the only difference. So I will be back when we get to the end, and we are going to do another color change. So get your black or whichever color you're using ready. Okay, let's finish this row off together. I've already worked my last large shell, 5 slip stitches. Now we're going to skip 2 and into the very last stitch, work our 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to work my stacked single. And then another double crochet into that same stitch, and 2 into each of the next 2 stitches. 2 and 1 and 2. Then just like we've been doing, skip the first slip stitch, slip into the next, chain 2, skip the next, and slip into the next after that. turn. Let me get my black ready. And into the first stitch, we work 2 double crochet, and then 1 into the next, 2 into the next, 1, 2, and then finally only 1, and I'm going to finish this one with the black. There we go. So for this row of single crochet, we're not going to do anything special. In fact, we're not going to even work into the slip stitches. We are going to skip them. So just work 1 single crochet into every single stitch down to the bottom of the shell, skip over your slip stitch, and into the first double crochet, start working single crochets in all 18 single crochets. Skip over the slip stitch and repeat 1 single crochet in all 18 doubles. So that's how this row is going to work out. And then the next row, much the same. Back loop only, single crochet into every stitch, and that's it. So these next 2 rows of single crochet are nothing special, just 1 single crochet into every stitch that way and 1 back loop single crochet into every stitch going back, where you will cut, weave in your ends, and start back at the beginning with the right side facing you. And I believe we are joining with, I mean, it's obvious the way the color pattern is working out, so without even looking at the pattern, I'm going to say join with your medium color. So I will be right back. So yes, this first row of single crochet is very simple, very straightforward. The second row of single crochet will be done in the back loop only, as we have been doing. The only difference being that is where we are going to join. So you're going to join only 2 stitches from each shell. Of course, starting with your very first shell, you're going to work 8 single crochet down, and then the last stitch, of course, this is the back loop only row, the last stitch of your shell and the first stitch of your next shell, work those together in a 2 single crochet together stitch, and then carry on. Okay, so we will be reducing these from 18 single crochet to 16 on each shell by joining those 2, just like we did down here. So I will be right back. Go ahead and work those 2 rows and then join with your medium color. For me, that's going to be the brown. Okay, so this next shell we're going to work is going to be the final shell type of the pattern. That doesn't mean it's the last shell we're going to make, but it's the final one that it's the final adaptation, okay? So this was the latest one we learned. Now we're about to learn a new shell building technique, which will be the shells that's going to finish off the rest of the coat. So I will have some homework for you. So I'm going to go over this row with you once, and then they do have some homework for us to finish out the rest of the coat portion. Then in video 3, so this will be a 3-parter. In video 3, we will cover the sleeves, the trimming, and the hoodie portion, okay? So for this, we are going to join with our medium color, and you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 stitches over. This is where we're going to join. Okay? Okay, now let's skip 2 stitches and work our 6th double crochet shell into the little valley here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There we go. Now we are going to skip 2, work a slip stitch. Sorry. Chain 2. This time we're going to skip 2 and then work another slip stitch. Okay, then we're going to turn and work 2 double crochet into every double crochet of the fan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and do that again, and 12. Okay, that is how everything should be looking. Just like we did on this side, we're going to skip 2 stitches, work a slip stitch in the next, chain 2. This time we only have 1 stitch to skip, so go ahead and skip it and work your next slip stitch. There we go. Now we're going to turn, and just like we did before, we are going to work double crochets across. We're going to work increases, but this time, see down here, we started with 2 double crochet for the increase. Now it wants us to start with 1 and end with 2. So we're going to work 1 double crochet into the first stitch, 2 into the next, 1 into the next, 2 into the next after that. I'll be right back. I'm going to finish this all the way across. And again, just like before, we should have 18 double crochet across. So this time we are going to skip 1 stitch and work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 7 stitches in a row. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we will skip 2, and I'm going to work this repeat with you one more time before I give you some homework. Okay, so now we're going to skip 2 and work our 6 double crochet. Repeat. Three, 4, 5, and 6. There we go. Now we're going to skip 2, work a slip stitch, chain 2, skip 2, work a slip stitch. Okay, and then let's build this shell up. 2 double crochet into every double crochet for a total of 12 in a row. So I'll be right back. I'll finish this really quick off camera. 12 double crochet in a row worked. Now we're going to skip 2 slip stitches, work a slip stitch in 1, chain 2, skip only 1 on this side, work a slip stitch into the next. Now turn and work your 18 double crochet in a row, starting with 1 this time. Try that again. One, and then the next stitch gets 2. And then 1 into the next. So I will finish this off camera really quick. I will be right back. Okay, there we go. 18, I ended with an increase. Now let's skip 1 stitch and work 7 single crochet in a row, and then we will start the repeat all over again until the end. That was 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 1 extra stitch. So where did I go wrong? Was I supposed to skip 2? Okay, I have my 18 double crochet in a row ending with an increase. Now we will skip 1 stitch and work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 7 single crochet. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Skip 2 stitches and start working our shell repeat all over again. Now for the homework. Let me just finish this. 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course I can show you this one more time really quick. We skip 2, we work a slip stitch, chain 2, skip 2, work a slip stitch. Then you will turn and start working. Okay, so now for the homework. After this, you're going to work your 2 rows of the black color, and from now on, for the remainder of the coat, the 2 rows of single crochet are all going to be worked the same way. Your first row is going to be into every stitch, all 18 stitches of the shell. Your second row, your back loop only row, you're going to reduce those two center stitches, or center. The last stitch and the first stitch of each shell will be reduced to 2 single crochet together. So that's going to remain a constant throughout the entire pattern, and the way we work the shells is going to remain a constant throughout the entire pattern. So they say here to work rows 32 and 33 the same as we worked rows 29 and 30, which is the black, the single crochet rows. So I just explained that to you. Okay, then it says to continue to work an established pattern until alternating fan shell rows with 2 single crochets. So you're going to continue to work the fan shells every other row. You're going to start either 6 stitches in, or you're going to start by working a half shell on the end, just like we have been, these little half shells here, like this half shell. So you're going to continue to either, the next row will be starting with a half shell. The next row after that, you will start at 6 single crochet in, then a half, then 6. So it wants us to continue to work in this pattern until we have 4 more of the shell rows worked. So we want a total of 5 of these very large shell rows worked in this fashion. So this makes 1. You've got 4 more shell rows to work with your single crochet rows in between. So that is your homework. Okay, after that, you're going to end with the 2 black color, or your 2 single crochet rows. That's what you want to end with. After that, we're going to go ahead and start the sleeves. They should go fairly quickly. Then we are going to work the button border, or the trim, and with that, we're going to work out the buttonholes. It's if you even want buttons. You don't have to. You could do zipper, whatever you want. And then we're going to work the hood, okay? And the hood also looks fairly simple. Should be quick to make. So far, I have not used very much of this yarn. If any of you are worried that this pattern was going to be a yarn eater, let me show you what I have left so far. Here's what I have made. I truly think at this point, all you really need is 2 skeins of each color, and you really won't use both. So let me go ahead and pan out and show you what I have made. I did already start working on the sleeve last night, just so I can have one already done and know how to do it for whenever we make the next one. Okay, this is what I have so far. Here's my unworked sleeve. Here's my partially worked sleeve. I still have, I think, 3 or 4 more rows to go on the sleeve, maybe even 5. But this is what I have made so far. So I'm at about the mid to almost lower rib cage section whenever I try this on. It fits a little big right now, but I'm not going to judge it yet till it's done. It has to weigh itself down. But as of right now, it fits a little bit big. So I'm thinking either the yarn we have today is thicker than the yarn that they had in the 70s, which is highly likely the exact case here. Or maybe our hook sizes are different than they were back then. I don't know, but it is working out a little bit bigger. And again, I'm a size 14 normally. So here is how much yarn I have left. These were my starting skeins. This is how much I have of the mulberry. Here is the cafe latte, still quite a bit of that left. And of course, because this is a jumbo skein, I've got loads of this left. So I'm really not eating up that much yarn. In fact, I'm eating up more black than anything. Here's how much black I have left, just from my starting skeins. These were from the very start. These are not fresh ones. So, yeah, if anybody was concerned that this was going to be a yarn eater, you can make this entire thing with just 2 skeins of each color. But I would say decide what your hood and your trim, the buttonhole area, decide what color you want that to be. I want mine to be mulberry. So I did buy 2 extra skeins of mulberry. That was an overshot. I didn't need it. I would say for sure get 1 extra skein of whatever color you want to be your hood and your trim. The pattern calls for that to be done in black, the black trim and a black hood, but I want my hood to be mulberry and I want my trim to be mulberry. So I did buy 2 more skeins of that. Other than that, I really don't think you're really gonna even need a skein and a half of each color to finish this whole thing. I think maybe a skein and a quarter is what you need of the cream and of the brown and really of the mulberry. If you don't want any trim, if you don't want a hood at all, that's really all you need. So this is not that much of a yarn eater if that's something that you were nervous about. But this is turning out quite cute, if I must say so. But yeah, whenever I try it on, the front part overlaps like this on me, and we still have trim to put on. So I'm like, kind of wishing I had made the size 8-10, if I'm being completely honest. Okay, I will say though, the arm area, only because you've all seen, I've got big arms, okay? I used to be obese. I lost a lot of weight after I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I immediately did everything I was supposed to, and I've been following diabetic code ever since. And so I just didn't do a lot of exercise and toned down. So I do have big old jiggly, flubbery arms. So for me, under the arms is a little bit tight. Just for me though. That's for me with my big jiggle arms. Okay, that doesn't mean it, you have the same size arms I do. Okay, guys, so that's going to be it for part 2. Just continue to work your shells until there are 4 more of these. You need 5 total. This is 1. So basically work it until you have worked your brown, your cream, your mulberry. Okay, hang on. Brown, cream, mulberry, brown. End with brown, and then finally end with your black single crochet rows. That's what you're looking for. And I will see you guys in part 3 for sleeves, hood, and trim, and then my little fashion show. Bye.